Hey church, Pastor Clay here from this beautiful port of Antalya, Türkiye. Today we traced the footsteps and the sailing route through Paul's very first missionary journey. We visited Perga, Aspendos, and this very port of the ancient Antalya. These places frame a whole season of ministry, from being sent out to the time of coming home, with stories along the way of what God has done. We begin near Antalya on Turkey's Mediterranean coast, and from here we drive inland to Perga, a Greco-Roman city with an impressive stadium, a theater, baths, agora, and city walls, all giving a sense of this former greatness. We had a chance to walk through the very Hellenistic city gates that Paul and his companions would have traversed to enter the city. Now, not far away from Perga is Aspendos, whose theater is one of the best preserves in the ancient world, still known for its exceptional acoustics and standing since the 2nd century AD. Now, nearby remarkable aqueducts reminds us how carefully the ancients thought about water and life. Then we return back to Antalya, this ancient port of Attalia, the place from which Paul and Barnabas once sailed home to Antioch. Luke tells us the story in Acts 13 and 14. After leaving Cyprus, he writes, "Then Paul and his companions set sail from Paphos and came to Perga in Pamphylia. But they went on from Perga and came to Antioch in Pisidia." This is Acts 13, verses 13 through 14. Perga is their gateway into a demanding overland journey across the Taurus Mountains that you can see right behind me here, and into a new territory. Now, after preaching, facing opposition, and seeing many come to faith, they eventually began the journey back in Acts 14, verses 24 through 26, which read, "Then they passed through Pisidia and came to Pamphylia. When they had spoken the word in Perga, they went down to Attalia. From there, they sailed back into Antioch, where they had been commended for the grace of God for the work that they had completed." Perga and Antalya stand at both this doorway into the mission and the doorway back from it. Now, here in Perga and Attalia, we're standing at the edges of the story, the launching point and the return. There are many of us that spend a lot of our lives on the edge of something new or coming home from something hard. So being in these places, a few things strike me. Paul and Barnabas were commended to the grace of God before they even left. They did not go in their own strength alone. And when they returned, they reported all that God had done to them and with them. The story was not, "Look what we accomplished," but "Look what God did as we trusted him." Along the way, of course, there were setbacks. John Mark is believed to have suffered malaria and left them in Perga. There was opposition. There was extreme fatigue. But they didn't halt the journey. God wove even these hard parts into the larger story of grace that was happening. So as I stand among these stones and by this beautiful harbor, I'm reminded that all of our journeys of faith and the ministry will have beginnings that feel risky or uncertain. They'll have middles that include both fruitfulness and frustration, and they'll have returns where we look back and trace God's hand in the ways that we couldn't have seen it at the time. And so I invite you to think about your own life right now. Are you at a Perga moment? Are you on the edge of something new? Or are you at an Antalya moment, returning from a demanding season? How might God be inviting you to trust in God's grace at this stage of the journey? As you see these beautiful sights and as you see the way that God worked in antiquity, may you be reminded of how God continues to work today, and may you see the changes in your life and the changes into the future. God bless. Have a wonderful day.